software, and everything you see, everything all the interaction you do with the application, those are codes running behind the scene, computer codes. So when I say computer codes, what it means is that it is built by a particular programming by a particular or series of programming tools, or I should say programming languages. So if you want to be a software engineer, it's a good idea that you pick at least one programming language. You pick at least one programming language, and you learn the programming language to the extent that you are able to start building something. So I'm choosing my word carefully by saying start building something, because you cannot be a pro from day one, and it starts from somewhere. You can start by building something as simple as a calculator, or something as simple as a plus, an addition of two numbers, something as simple as evoking the phone camera and taking photos. So you can start from there. Then as you grow, you'll be able to do other stuff, like maybe pulling data from some servers, or from some environments in which we call APIs, as well as storing data into different databases. For instance, let's look at Facebook. When you log into Facebook, you see you already has your information. The only thing you did was to go to fb.com. Then you see where you are supposed to enter your username and password. You enter your username and password. When you log in, you see your information. You see data from your friends, your families, and a lot of people who have posted their data. All those data are stored somewhere. So the developers of Facebook built it in a way whereby those data can be loaded back into the interface for you to interact with, to spike your interest. So with what I've said, it is advisable that you know at least one programming language. Then as you grow in your career, you'll be able to learn other supporting programming language or other supporting tools that will help that your programming language move to the next level. So a lot of people will ask, so where do we start? Okay, where do we start? The first thing I advise anyone, let me start first with a student, is ensure you graduate with a good grade. Okay, ensure you graduate with a good grade. I believe you can see my screen, and I'm trying to emphasize on graduate with a good grade. The reason why you need to graduate with a good grade is so that during employment, during the time where you are searching for a job, even if you know these programming languages, you need something that will take you to the doorstep of the organization that needs to recruit you, or the organization that needs your expertise, or the organization that is even willing to train you. For instance, in my company, we trained over I think over 40, between 40 to 60 graduate trainees. We train them in software engineering and other parts of software in quotes, and they are resuming with us this month end. But I believe strongly that there are requirements to get to the position where you'll be considered as a graduate trainee for you to be trained. And one of those requirements in all banking environments is graduate with a good grade. Okay, there are a lot of people who say that school is a scam. Look at Mark Zuckerberg, look at Bill Gates, look at all these people. They are all dropouts and they are doing well. Then my question is, what's your definition of success? What's your definition of doing well? Is it money? If yes, then let's move money out of the way. Then ask yourself what next. If you think you are successful, then move money out of the way. Then ask yourself, who are you? So that is one. So don't not say that because Mark Zuckerberg dropped out and it becomes one of the tech giants, therefore it's an excuse for you to not to graduate, or it's an excuse for you not to study, and then you find yourself in a tight scenario or tight position that it is difficult for you to proceed in the business world. So that is one. The secondly, which is a bullet point, I want to explain something to you. Everyone that has been saying that Mark Zuckerberg, the rest, they are dropped out. The reality is that those are false stories. You do not know the content of the story. You do not know the reasons why they dropped out. Most of these guys are genius. When I say genius, they are so good to the extent that the school is so slow. They can teach their lecturers. So the school was more like a hindrance to them because they are so good. They can learn any course in less than one week or 2 weeks, and they are fine. And because of that, all these tech giants that were dropped out, they've all gone to get their masters. Some of them has also had their PhDs. So please do not compare, yourself as a Nigerian in one of our Nigerian schools or polytechnics or college of education. We know that these giants who went to Harvard and MITs and dropped out from those schools. In fact, for you to be admitted in Harvard, it means you are a genius in the first place, or MIT. So please, if there are some people on Twitter, Facebook, or maybe any other social media platform who tell you that school is a scam, to me it's best not to even argue with them. Just move on. Ensure that you do as much as you can do in school. Even if you do not graduate with a good grade, ensure that you tried your best, which is all that matters. So that whenever you see your result, deep down in your heart, you know that I tried, but this is the best I could get. Meaning, if you go back in time and you try again, the difference might not be too much from what you had previously. So I just thought that you bring that one out before we proceed. Okay, so that being said, let's talk about where you want to start from, or where you think most millennials, I use the word millennials in quotes, millennials to me, if I'm speaking from the US, I'll say millennials are those who were born in from the 1995 from 1995 to date. But in Nigeria, I would say millennials are basically those who were born in the year 2000s, or I would say those who graduated from 2015 till date. Most of them believe that they've heard a lot of people's stories. So because of that, they intentionally went to study computer science. They intentionally went to start learning programming languages, not because they want to, but because they see that tech is now a big deal, and they just want to graduate and start making money. So that is a lot of millennial story, and I want to tell you that that is not a very good mindset, because the road may not be as smooth as it seems. Most of the stories you may have heard may not really, you might have heard their success stories, but in every success there's always a struggle in between. I have had my struggles, and I think my struggle is going to be the next bullet point. I graduated in 2009, and then I knew Visual Basic then. And my first, I think I got my first job in January 4th, 2010. I graduated December 20 to 22nd. Then my first job came in January 4th. And I think I went to serve April, so I stopped the job and focus on service, focus on building myself while I was serving, which is something you need to consider while you are serving. So as far as possible to own a laptop, start learning these programming tools you need. Start working, or start interning, or start reaching out to people to say, I have learned this thing, I know this thing, I want to build this thing for you for free. Find opportunities for you to express your experience. So those are the things I did during my service year. And after I graduated, I stayed home. That was in 2011, searching for a job, no job, because then I was thinking that all I have to do is just graduate, then go and start praying, and God will give me job. 2012 came, no job. 2013 came, no job. Then I remember that when I was in school, I was the departmental president. I was good. Yes, my grade. I need to confess to you that my grades were not too great, but sometimes my lecturers ask me to go lecture some departments based on software engineering, or based on programming. So a lot of students knew me, but the fact that I was the president, plus the fact that I do tutorials, sometimes some free, some paid, a lot of students knew me. And now in 2013, most of these students, they graduated to meet me waiting for a job. So it was like I was really a good example. But the reality is that there's a difference between what you know and what you did not know, and what you do not know. What I did not know then was that growth is intentional. The next level is intentional, and I was not doing anything intentional to get to the next level. Yes, I was praying. Yes, I was hoping, but praying is not enough. Praying is not enough. So what I did was, out of shame and all that, I moved from my home to stay with one of my friends in Warri. So he got a job in Uyo. So he left me in his family house. So I felt uncomfortable. Then I reached out to my one of my sisters, and I asked her for guidance on how to enroll, or how to gain admission as a PGD student in Uniben. I went to Uniben. Uniben was so slow. I went to Uni Ilori. But while I was in Uni Ilori, the person I worked with in 2010 reached out to me to say that there is a role in a company in Lagos that requires my expertise. So I went there. Before I went there, I did a lot of training. I reached out to people, asked them what are the tech stack they use in Lagos, and I practiced with them. Then I went for an interview. I was not too good in the interview, but they offered to test me for a month. 6 months later, I got two awards within in the company, and the awards was for the fact that I was one of the best engineer because I delivered products before the delivery date. So how did that happen? I spent extra time learning. Any issue I had, I tried my best to move to we call it unblock blockers. I tried my best to unblock those blockers to learn and possibly reach out to my seniors to teach me on a way to overcome that particular challenge. After that, things was kind of tough because the company, their source of revenue dropped. Nigeria Delta Avengers, they came with their stuff, so a lot of us were dropped. But I had the confidence that I will not be dropped. But when I reached out to my line manager, he told me something, and he said, just because the reason why my contract or why I'm no longer back in the job is because what I built was working and it does not require updates. So that shows that I am good in what I do, but that is not a good financial, decision for his company to establish me to my position because whatever I built has been working. So a lot of people will see that as an issue, which is one of the bullet points I'm going to talk about, which is finding the opportunity within or during the time of disappointment. So a lot of people will see it as an excuse to say, okay, because I've been writing good codes, okay, because I was nice. Next time I will intentionally build something I will be failing, so they will need me. But what I saw from that story told me was that I am as good as what I think in less than a year. So that drove me. I started pushing my CVs, upgrading, going online, looking for job requirements, trying to match those job requirements, and I started applying. The next job I got was for the role as a deputy manager with one of the fintech companies here in Lagos. That was where I started building applications for banks. Long story short, I started working with Andela, which is an international company, and I found myself here at Wema as a technical team lead. So that is my story. All this took me between 20. My first job in which is the job I told you I got in Lagos was in 2014. All those took me. I think I became quite stable in 2016. Then all those experience took me to date. So that is my story, to be brief. Then there was someone that reached out to me as a mentee. I listen to him because anytime he sees me, we discuss codes. He's passionate about what you do and all that. So the company where I got a job as a deputy manager, they needed a software engineer. And guess what? He was the first person I reached out to because when I have challenges on code, he reached out to me. When he discovered something new, he reached out to me. So when an opportunity came, I reached out to him. Long story short, I left the company to another company. He took over my role as an assistant manager in that company. And then in less than 2 years, he was employed in InterSwitch. And as we speak now, he's no longer in the country. He's now employed in the UK with his family. Okay. So now, that is like a brief overview of the life, okay, or the chronicles of a software engineer. The lesson learned there for my journey is ensure you move with knowledge. Ensure you know what you are doing. Ensure you know your stuff. When I say you know your stuff, have something you know it's of value. The reason is because no company is even happy paying you salary. They don't. It's not like I don't want to use the word to say they don't really love you. What they love is what you can offer them, and that is the same with every relationship. Every relationship is an exchange. That is the one that is close to you. So let's take ourselves to the one that is not close to us, which is the company. They need to get something from you. So the question is that what do you have to give? What is that thing that is in your hand that you can give to those companies so that they can in return not just pay you salary but beg you when it is time for you to move on to another company. They are ready to double your salary just for you to stay put. So that is the journey of a software engineer. Ensure you have a programming stack. Ensure you have you have a good attitude to people and attitude to work. So some of you may ask this question. When I was in school, programming was hard. Programming is not easy. Programming is not for everybody. And I agree with you that programming is not for everybody, honestly. Because some of us we found ourselves to have studied computer science because we could not, get admission to the course of our choice. So computer science was just like where we were dumped at the end of the day. So, what are the other rules you can consider if you are not you are not programming is not your thing, which I everyone understand. So there are rules you can pick up. I have this here, but I'm going to skip this because I believe I've discussed too much of a story. But let me discuss about this. So there are roles called quality assurance, or we call them a quality assurance engineers. Quality assurance engineers. In bracket, you can say I use the word fault finders. I intentionally kept that there because if you see yourself as somebody that when you were in school or when you are at home, you always see fault in people. Maybe you attended the wedding, the wedding gown had a little bit of ink stain at the bottom. Instead of you to see how beautiful the bride is, you are seeing the stain on the wedding gown, and that is the major issue. Then I advise you to go I advise you to go study quality assurance because that is just the role that is good for you. Because your job is to look for faults in softwares that the software engineers have built, and also ensure that the software is working as specified. Okay, so if you have any question regarding other rules or description of a quality assurance engineer, you can ask the questions at the Q&A session. But the idea is that there are a lot of things you can do even if you are not a programmer. So you do not need to be a programmer to be able to take up the role of a software quality assurance, a QA. We call them QA engineers, but they are software quality assurance engineers. We also have other roles like DevOps. I believe you guys had a section on DevOps. So DevOps are the way I see them are those people who are interested in infrastructure, like is your computer okay, are the network connected, or you build a software. Let's deploy your software to the environment where everyone can see it. So those are the requirements of a DevOps engineer. So you may want to look up a little bit about DevOps, but I won't really go into a deep dive into DevOps because it's one of the session you guys have had. So there's project managers, program managers, product managers. These are three roles that I mentioned. It's not like they are the same thing. But if you find yourself as that person when you are in school or when you are out there among your friends, something there's an event that you are thinking of organizing, or there's something that you think requires everyone to get like something like a get together or anything, and you find yourself gathering information, maybe calling the dish to know how much is going to cost everyone in the school, calling DJ, calling inviting me as well to this session, and also calling let's say I'm looking for this particular MC to come, to come and guide, or to come guide an occasion. If you find yourself doing things like that, there's a high possibility that you already have the skill of a project manager. Okay, because then you start thinking, how much is this going to cost? Who are the resources? What are the resources do we need? Who are the people? I know this lady, she knows how to dance. Therefore, because she knows how to dance, she will have a lot of people who know how to dance. Let's invite her. Let's do this. Let's do that. You already have a default skill set of a project manager. So you may want to look at that particular role if you are not crazy about programming, or programming is not your thing. Program manager is similar to project manager. Then product managers is similar to what I said, but the difference is that now you are not gathering requirements for the project. You are gathering requirements for the product. When I say product, let's give WhatsApp as an example. You are the one that defined the requirement of WhatsApp. You say that I want WhatsApp to be able to, or in 2022, we want WhatsApp to be able to make shared video calls. So that can be a requirement. So the requirement that might be created by the project manager, but the product manager's job is to ensure that after the engineers has delivered, that camera is there. Whether the camera is working or not, that is the quality assurance job. But whether the feature is there or not is the product manager's job. So that is a role that you may want to take if you are not into, or you are not keen about writing programs. So there's Scrum Masters. The job of Scrum Master, they are like time managers. I know someone will soon tell me 5 minutes left, so that is what Scrum Master does. So if you find yourself doing that in an occasion, you are so conscious of time, then this is a role that I think fits you. Okay, so what Scrum Master does is that they define time in a frame in anything that needs to be achieved. Okay, we want to organize a ball, we want to organize an event, we want to organize something. They will ask you, okay, from the when to when do you want to organize this event? Okay, this particular section is going to last for 45 minutes. In 30 minutes, the Scrum Master started notifying me that, hey, what's your time? So that is the job of Scrum Masters. And there are a lot of things, a lot of job description and activity that a Scrum Master that a Scrum Master does. So what I would advise now is that if you are not interested in coding, they are other interested career journey in IT, because everything I mentioned here, they are in IT, and you are to work with a software engineer. And the way it seems, you end up looking like the software engineer works for you, okay? Because the software engineer builds the product. You check, is the product does it meet up to expectation? Then the development engineer helps you move your product so that everyone can see it. Then when your product is up there for everyone to see, the project manager, the program manager, the product manager, they ensure that all the features that were previously specified, they are there. Then the Scrum Master ensures that the product is designed between time A to time B. Then one other interesting rule is, if all this looks too technical to you, is a tech recruiter's role. You may want to say, I do not really want to get myself involved in all this, the get my hand dirty with all this and get involved with the programmer. But I want to be able to recruit software engineers. So your job is to look for what companies needs, the requirement company needs as a software engineer. Then you go through you put out a job post, you go through the CV of the applicants and ensure that the CV matches with the requirement of those software engineers. So now it's not just software engineers you can recruit. You can also recruit QA, you can recruit DevOps, you can recruit project manager, program manager, product manager, you can recruit Scrum Master, you can also recruit tech recruiters as well. So that's another role that you may want to look at. For those